Welcome back to part two. Let's get into it. We got part two. Let's get into it.
We was planning it, bro. Just didn't know. We been planning, bro. Just didn't put the plan into effect. So, bro, Schlubby was a big, you feel me, part of that plan. He gone now though, but just gonna keep it lit. Nigga. Push his Schlubby mode, bro. You feel me? And nigga, oh, tornadoes coming for that. Period. There ain't really nothing else to say about it.
Indeed, just 2 days after Slowby's death, Jock was caught on camera telling his gang that they needed to go and kill somebody to avenge Slowby.
Take some pictures. Come on, let's let go there, take a picture. As we taking a picture right here, like, they ain't celebrating nothing, bro. We just gotta go kill somebody, bro. What are you talking about? Come on.
Later on, some interesting rumors would begin to spread online about the murder, including claims that Slowby had been killed by a white man that was romantically involved with Slowby's baby mother, but others would challenge these claims, instead pointing the finger at the Flyboys. And while police revealed little publicly, the music that followed would begin to tell a different story that seemed to confirm these rumors. A few months after Slowby's death, Flyboys rapper Band-Aid Snowy would rap in his song Peekaboo about killing someone early in the morning and putting them on the news. And by February 2024, Snowy would debut his song Don't Do Me, where he showcased a large 21K tattoo on the side of his face, while the song as a whole is widely interpreted to have actually been a reenacting of Slowby's final moments, with Snowy rapping about chasing an op down while repeating the words "Cuddy don't do me," which are rumored to have actually been Slowby's last words, as scenes in the music video would even depict a man lying on the ground and begging for mercy. To remove any doubt, the video would even briefly flash the word "too slow," spelled without the W, an obvious reference to Slowby's name. On his March 2024 track Die Slow, Flyboys rapper Be Nice Threes also referenced Slowby, alongside Deadliest Park Blood members, Eli and Chubbs, labeling them all as confirmed bodies of the Flyboys, while bands would rap on his August 2024 track, The Real Boogeyman, about catching someone walking out the house and how Slowby ran and got tired, before also referencing Slowby's alleged last words by rapping how a rapper got caught and yelled, "Don't do me." Some have even interpreted Bands' face tattoo of a trophy to be similar to his 2900K tattoo, but this time signaling the murder of someone with a high status, such as Slowby. Nano MB would also add another layer, rapping about how it isn't safe to not have a gun and chasing someone down on a block and not caring about a kid, which some have connected to unconfirmed rumors that Slowby actually got shot whilst out walking with his daughter, something that was mentioned by the YouTuber Sacramento Gang Archives, who would also claim that the shooters allegedly got the drop from Slowby's weed man.
Slowly actually bought weed from a non-affiliate from South Stockton. And this gonna watch this video right now and feel like, but he was bumping his damn gums to the wrong people, saying how he sells weed to Slowby. Whoever was listening somehow got information out of him and got the drop on Slowby from that weed man. Now, as far as the weed man, that was the only part that he played unintentionally in Slowby dying. He did not do that on purpose. He was just being a regular person, being happy that he sells weed to someone who's famous, you know? He found out that Slowby was in an apartment complex with no gate, 10 minutes away from Stockton. They caught Slowby either going to or from that little ass apartment with his baby mom and with one of his kids.
This murder still remains unsolved to this day,
See,
and whether the Flyboys...
Slowby, man. The thing is, bro, when you're a famous rapper, upcoming rapper, people know you, bro, we really gotta be careful, because your enemy's gonna want to get you. They're gonna try to do anything to find where you at, try to get you, man. That's sad, man. RP Slowby, man. That's really RP everybody that lost their life on both sides, man. Regardless of the beef, RP everybody that lost their life on both sides, man. It's sad, bro. I really don't get how y'all just live like this, bro. Knowing people trying to get y'all life, bro. And y'all gotta look over y'all shoulder every single time. I don't know how y'all do it.
Behind it or not, it seems that they definitely wanted EBK to think that they were the ones responsible. But unfortunately, it seems that only 10 days later, that would end up costing them yet another major loss.
Here we go, man.
On August the 15th, 2022, officers responded to another shooting, this time at the notorious Southside Market, the same location where Flyboy Cholo had been murdered earlier that year. At the scene, they found one person killed and another one injured, with the news eventually identifying the dead victim as Scott DeMar, also known as an alleged Flyboys member called FAD.
The incident happened here behind us inside the parking lot of the Southside Market. Much of the investigation appears to be aimed towards the front of the market, but we're not sure whether or not shots were fired inside or out, but what we can tell you is we do see some bullet holes in the front of the business as well as on some cars. Officers on the scene also tell us that there's a number of family members of the victims that are over on the other side of this area. We went to speak with them. They said they didn't want to answer any questions. Police so far have confirmed that one person was killed, another person was injured and taken to the hospital.
Disturbingly, a portion of the murder was captured on surveillance footage showing FAD standing outside the market looking at his phone before someone runs up and shoots him in the head. This time, law enforcement moved quickly, and within 3 months they had an EBK affiliate and rapper Lil Sleaze, real name Cameron McCullough, in custody, charged with felony murder in connection to the killing. This wouldn't stop EBK members dissing FAD though, with EBK J-Bo himself rapping in the song Aftermath how he had died the worst way by taking rounds from another fully automatic weapon to the face. However, when Sleaze was arrested for the murder, the streets had already dealt their own revenge, because at the end of August 2022, EBK would end up losing someone very close to them in another murder that would become connected to the Flyboys.
Valley.
In the weeks following the murder of Flyboy's FAD, the war between them and EBK would continue to escalate. On August the 26th, officers responded to a shooting in the 900 block of Glendale Avenue in South Stockton, where a 28-year-old Edward Williford was found fatally wounded. In the aftermath, local ABC 10 News would interview Edward's relatives, who described him as a joyful, kind-hearted person who was loved by those around him.
I was going on social media, Facebook, looking around to see if anybody, and a lot of other people was posting it too, saying rest in peace, Edward.
Rest in peace, Edward, on a social media post.
And yeah, that's how we found out.
These are the cousins of Stockton's 36th homicide victim in 2022, Edward
He was
Wilford.
always like crazy and funny and caring and everything. Yeah, he was just a good person to be around all the time. He was good vibes. Everybody loved Edward.
However, later on Reddit, internet sleuths would point out how Edward was from the area that locals call Crow Valley, the same area where J-Bo spent most of his childhood growing up, often referencing the neighborhood in his music, like shouting out the block number 3400, as well as streets in the area like Phelps Street and Ann Street, these pointing to specific blocks located directly to the west of Reverend Holmes Park, the very same spot where J-Bo's father, Rari, had shot his most popular music video in 2012, dedicated to his dead friend from Crow Valley. Later on, EBK would begin to pay tribute to Edward publicly, like his face appearing on EBK Mad Max's 2025 album artwork alongside EBK Osama and Young Slowby. Meanwhile, Flyboys artists would disrespect him in their music, portraying it as another retaliatory murder in their war against the
It's just crazy how they Flyboys, how they used to be cool with EBK. Like, just imagine if they were still cool with EBK. Like, damn, like that would be crazy. Like, shit, man.
EBK and their Lewis Park allies. Boy Boy Gunner would rap in his 2025 song Demonic Thoughts how Edward had spoken on FAD and caught an early grave, while on another 2025 track titled Blinded, he would rap about Edward screaming before he died, as well as mentioning how he had tried to run before getting shot with a fully automatic gun like an assault rifle. In yet another 2025 song titled Dead Ops, Boy Boy Gunner even referenced the potential suspect, specifically mentioning that the shooter might have been Asian. But while Flyboys artists were openly celebrating Edward's death, the violence on the ground was far from finished, and by next year, it was allegedly EBK's time to claim another life, this time striking big and catching one of the Flyboys' most high-profile members.
J Black, man.
Long before his name begun ringing through Stockton's music scene, Flyboys rapper J Black was already deeply rooted in the gang's history. As far back as 2012, photos showed him standing alongside Flyboys and other Threes members, signaling that his involvement in the group had stretched back far more than a decade. Around that same time, a wave of Free Black social media posts begun appearing, hinting at the rapper's early run-ins with the justice system. Fast forward to 2023, and J Black was no longer just a background figure, as he had become one of the most recognizable faces and voices associated with the Flyboys, gaining visibility not only in the streets, but through music that openly reflected his affiliations. However, that visibility came with a cost, and by March of that year, the same ties that elevated his status would ultimately put a target.
You know, sir, I heard that J Black was actually good at that music stuff, bro. I heard that J Black is actually good at that music stuff. It just, listen, he was in the streets, but I heard he was actually good at that music stuff, man. Now, a lot of these artists upcoming usually good. Did you ever like rapping, storyteller, and all that, but sometimes the street get them, man. You know what I'm saying? It's sad, bro. RP to J Black, man. Like I said, man, RP to everybody lost life And it's like when he's so far that Trapper runs out the
on his back. On March the 4th, at approximately 6:03 p.m., Stockton police responded to reports of gunfire near the Southside Market in the 2100 block of South Airport Way. When officers arrived, they found 29-year-old Jay Black, real name Jacob Haywood Thomas, along with an innocent bystander, both suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. And despite being rushed to the hospital, neither victim would end up surviving. At that point, the double homicide marked the 5th killing in the area within a single month, pushing fear and frustration to a boiling point across nearby neighborhoods. As a result, Stockton police began shifting tactics and started to reach out to Stockton neighborhoods where the murders occurred. In the weeks that followed, officers began holding community meetings in the affected areas, urging residents to come forward with information and emphasizing how recent tips had already led to arrests in other homicide cases. Within just 2 months, police would identify 2 suspects in the South Side.
I told y'all, bro, every time it says a Dr. Martin Luther King, like a street or a drive, just know it's dangerous. Every time it's a MLK drive or something like that, or a street, it's dangerous. Every time.
Market shooting and arrested 18-year-old Uza Satua, also known as EBK Lil Play, along with a 16-year-old juvenile accused of carrying out the attack. Yet the investigation didn't stop there, because nearly a year later, a third suspect, 27-year-old Derek Gordon, also known as EBK Dada, was taken into custody in Las Vegas in connection to the murder.
Stockton police have arrested a third suspect in connection with a deadly shooting 1 year ago. Derek Gordon was taken into custody in Las Vegas in connection with the deaths of Andrea Jones and Jacob Haywood Thomas.
The arrest made it clear who was allegedly involved in the shooting, but according to J-Bo's 2025 track Fully Buyer, he was there too to witness the shooting with his own eyes. These lyrics may have not been too difficult to believe, because just 1 month after J Black's death, J-Bo himself was back behind bars for allegedly sliding on his ops. By February 2023, J-Bo had just regained his freedom after serving roughly a year and a half behind bars. However, that freedom would be short-lived. Just 2 months later, on April the 17th, at around 1:30 p.m., San Joaquin County deputies conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle in North Stockton, and inside, the officers found 4 suspects, including J-Bo, along with 2 unserialized short-barreled rifles with high-capacity magazines, 1 unregistered pistol, and more than $4,500 in cash. Notably, the stop occurred just outside of the townhome's North Side Gangster Crips territory, which would later raise questions if the police had intervened right before the EBK members were about to slide on their northern rivals. As a result of this incident, after only 2 months of freedom following his previous conviction, J-Bo was sent right back behind bars for roughly 5 months. But unfortunately, J-Bo's absence would do little to curb the war going on in the streets of Stockton. In the summer of 2023, Lewis Park would end up losing yet another one of their most beloved members. On the 23rd of July, 27-year-old Adam Nem, known in the streets as Lil A, was out partying in the city of Lodi, about a 20-minute ride north from Stockton. As he was seemingly with another man in the El Dorado nightclub, someone would open fire at them, injuring the other man and killing Lil A.
Zamora tells ABC 10 she feels safe in this neighborhood, but what happened early Sunday morning just steps from her restaurant has her in disbelief.
She was surprised that happened because stuff like that usually doesn't happen around here.
Lodi police say just after 1:15 this morning, 2 men in their 20s were found shot at the El Dorado nightclub. 1 man passed away while the other is still in the hospital recovering. And as Zamora's husband was working to open up the restaurant around 8 this morning, she says someone from the club asked her husband for a favor.
I asked him if they could borrow a hose so they can wash the inside because there was blood spilled all over.
For Lewis Park, Lil A's death was a huge loss, which became obvious from the amount of tributes that the members would continue to pay him. Notably, this included
Lil A. I remember that, bro. I remember I seen that Tommy G video, bro. That was him, bro. But like, knock off the gangster, bro. Like nightclubs and like going out at night, bro, is dangerous because people just gonna be shooting, bro. That's why it's dangerous, bro. You can literally be an innocent civilian, bro, and it's just, you know what I'm saying, it's just done for you because, yeah, man.
Their hood vlog with Tommy G, where they can be seen in front of Lil A's memorial, while the rapper Javan describes him as the most dangerous dude ever, making it clear that Lil A had likely put in maximum work in the streets before his death.
This the homie, man. What's up, man? This is my big homie, actually, man, for sure. VIP, blood in peace. I guess you have a favorite memory of him, or is there something like, what do you think, like when he comes to mind, like what comes to your head?
Dangerous as ever.
Yeah?
Yeah, he pulling up, he tripping.
He looked like he was about
He don't want to be in this camera right now. If he was here, he wouldn't want to be in this camera. So he be in it though, gang. Be in the camera, but me in the vlog, gang. But if he was in there, he wouldn't want to be in there. Nobody here, dangerous.
Yeah?
Hell yeah, on the beat.
He's got that look in his eye, you can just tell when you see him, you know?
Everybody see that look in his eye, they don't like it.
Interestingly though, the Flyboys would this time be relatively quiet, with only a few mentions of his death actually being found in their music, like Boy Boy Gunner in his 2025 song Blinded, where he simply states that Lil A died in the strangest way and that he should have had his gun on him. The lack of dissing perhaps implying that the Flyboys might not have been behind this murder. However, in 2024, the war would go into overdrive as 5 people would end up losing their lives back to back in brutal killings, many of which seemingly tied directly back to the war between EBK and Lewis Park versus the Flyboys and the Muddy Boys.
What?
At the beginning of the year,
what?
EBK were allegedly spinning
EBK or someone, what?
against their old enemies in the north, as the townhome's perhaps most known rapper 500 Want would get shot 6 times while he was hanging in their home territory in the north at the West Lane Plaza shopping center. He would fortunately survive the attempt on his life and would later explain the incident during his hood vlog with the Star Quality Entertainment YouTube channel.
We out here in North Cal, North Side Stockton, you know what I'm saying? North side on West Lane, you know what I'm saying? Where I got popped at, I got popped right here in the middle of the street.
Where'd they get you at, yo?
Huh?
Where'd they pop you at, your leg, yo?
All back shots, you know, dude, you know what I mean? Dude, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
And you still here?
Still here.
How did
this happened last year, January?
Bro, you know, bro, people in these games, bro, they think these niggas around the fuck with them. I promise right now, bro, you gotta jump, bro. These niggas right here in the video, it's not gonna give a fuck about you at all. This gang shit, they don't give a fuck about you, bro. They don't, bro. When you go to jail or you pass away, they can say, oh yeah, man, RP my nigga. RP here, hey man, free my nigga, man. RP my nigga. But after that, bro, they're not gonna give a fuck about you. They're not gonna check upon your family. Because then it's the next man up. They're not gonna give a fuck about you. And that's the sad part about it. They think there's some people that do it for their gang and all that, for the streets, for their hood, for their block. And when nobody, it's really be sad.
Like 20, 30 deep out here, you feel me? But I'm the only me and a couple other homies, we was standing like in the middle of the street right there. A couple of the homies was in Crazy Burgers, or like hella, like I thought like I heard like hella little fireworks going on. I just lived that type. Walking down like between the cars like this, how you is, walking down like that. And then I just seen like, you feel me?
It doesn't seem that anyone was arrested for the shooting, but in March 2025, as EBK Jabo released his most scathing diss track to date, F Everybody, he would leave very little to the imagination, as he rapped how he'd got out of a car and shot someone exactly 6 times. Interestingly, even Wante would admit how he had respect for one of the shooters, while claiming that the others had popped out like girls.
Because the way they jumped out like girls, you feel me? Something that jumped out on that though, you feel me? And I respect him, but the rest
EBK would allegedly continue to slide a few months later, but this time the target was the Flyboys, and specifically one of their most infamous shooters, Bands, who would appear in an April 2024 vlog with the Oregon and Park ENT YouTube channel with his right hand wrapped up. Boy Boy Gunner would confirm that Bands had gotten shot in his July 2025 song Demonic Thoughts, rapping how the people who had shot Bands were not alive anymore to rap about it. These were some truly ominous lyrics, because only a few weeks after Bands had appeared in the vlog with his injured hand, 2 EBK members would end up being killed back to back in about 24 hours. In the early morning hours of April the 28th, police would respond to reports of shots fired in the 6200 block of North Pershing Avenue in North Stockton. At the location, they would find 22-year-old Lawrence Neville, better known as EBK Lil Mando, suffering from a gunshot wound, and he would end up passing away at the scene. As the EBK members found out about the death of their friend, they would post tributes to Mando on social media while vowing for revenge, with even Jabo himself posting how it was going to be an eye for an eye. But there would be no time for any revenge, because already the following morning, at around 2:45 a.m., the police in Sacramento, about an hour drive north from Stockton, would respond to reports about shots fired in the Greenhaven neighborhood. Here, they would find Malik Lott, better known as Jabo's brother, EBK Osama, who had also been shot, and Osama too would later pass away at the hospital. The police would later find out that the shooting had taken place at the...
I didn't even know that Jabo's... Damn, so he lost his pops, his uncle, and his uncle, but like he called his uncle and his brother, bro. Damn, lost his pops. In 2015, lost his uncle. 2016, then like, damn, bro, that shit, bro.
Colony House Apartments, a few blocks away from where Osama was found. This was the biggest and most devastating loss for EBK since the death of Slobey, and following Osama's death, members of the Flyboys would take every opportunity to diss Osama and Mando. On Bands' August 2024 track, The Real Boogeyman, he would label Osama as a rat and taunted EBK for losing 2 members in a day. Flyboy Dougie would suggest in his 2025 track, Scene Step with Band-Aid Snowy, that Osama died because he was thinking with his pipe rather than his head, seemingly implying that it might have been a girl who set him up and backdoored him. Meanwhile, Boy Gunner would provide some interestingly specific details about the murder by rapping how Osama had tried to leave a driveway when he got shot. To understand how bad the violence had gotten in Stockton, it helps to compare it to other nearby cities. Just 20 miles southwest from Stockton, the city of Tracy presents a sharp contrast and is widely considered to be a relatively safe place to live, with the city's overall crime rate sitting well below both state and national averages. Yet by May 2024, the violence ripping through Stockton no longer respected city boundaries, as Tracy police responded to reports of multiple shots fired in the parking lot of a gas station in the city's north side. When officers arrived, they located 2 shooting victims, while bystander footage captured the aftermath with evidence markers scattered across the scene. The victims were later identified as Alexander Gabriel, also known as Spaz or A-Spaz, an alleged member of the Muddy Boys who was pronounced dead at the scene. His friend Pudi would be taken to hospital in a critical but stable condition.
A deadly shooting at this gas station just off Interstate 205. Claiming the life of 23-year-old Alexander Gabriel Ogon from Stockton and leaving another victim in the hospital. Tracy police responded around 3 a.m. Sunday to a report of multiple shots being fired in the parking lot of the gas station.
Our investigators collected a large amount of data from surveillance cameras in the area, so they're pouring through that right now. So we don't believe this is a random thing. We believe these folks might have known each other. That's one of the theories we're looking into right now.
And almost immediately, speculation began circulating online, even under news reports across YouTube, with one commenter noting that one of the victims' names was Alex and he was affiliated with the Flyboys and Muddy Boys, even speculating that the shooters had followed him from his job at an Amazon warehouse, while another commenter even claimed to be his co-worker at the warehouse. Notably, just weeks before the shooting, Spaz had appeared in a hood.
Bro. Something like people in the gang and then they work at a warehouse and they have a job. Like, ain't that 20 times worse and 10 times, like, it's 20 times dangerous because you're a gang member. People probably know you in the streets and you have a job, so they probably gonna be. If that is true that they probably been following him and been waiting since he after work, it's really insane. Like, imagine, like, bro, you in the streets, bro, and you off work or something. People have been following you probably for hours and hours and just waiting for you for the right time. That is spooky. That is scary, bro.
Vlog alongside the
that's like a worse, but like, bro,
rising Flyboys rapper Bands, where he could be seen wearing a ski mask and utility work gloves, often used by shooters to avoid leaving fingerprints or getting gunshot residue on their hands.
About 7 o'clock, I with that big deal. It's at December, yeah. Soda. Man, you know what it is, man. A whole lot of gangbanging. Only 97. Yeah, hubby, man. I'm coming through this mother. Trying to get it jumping.
In that same vlog, the group openly discussed growing up and using bikes and scooters to slide on their enemies before graduating to sliding with strikers or stolen cars.
9-degree weather. Fuck all them dead. This is entertainment, though. Don't ever forget this is entertainment. This is entertainment. This is what they like to see.
Hey, no face, no case, cause all headshots, no leg shots.
So what's the difference between how y'all used to move when y'all was younger and now?
We not on bikes. That's what it is. We not on bikes. We through there.
We got motion. Militant.
We in between that like some pennies and
militant. That's all it is. Check the scoreboard.
The fallout from the Tracy shooting hit close to home, as Spaz was a brother of the rapper Nano MB and a cousin of the rapper Bands, and Spaz's funeral drew a large turnout of Flyboys members.
Ain't nothing. Come on.
Yet even in mourning, the hostility never slowed, and EBK Jabo later took to Instagram to mock the funeral by playing Logic's awareness song captioned with the lyrics, "I don't want to be a..." While EBK Young Jock could be seen trolling the Flyboys by liking their posts from the funeral. Meanwhile, it would take nearly 4 months for police to release any information about the shooters, with online sleuths quickly drawing their own conclusions about these images based on body size and outfits of one of the shooters, coming to the conclusion that the person bore resemblance to the EBK member Pig, with some Redditors pointing out how in such a small city, doing drills in your music video outfits was probably not the best idea. EBK Pig was also known to be very close with members of the Lewis Park Bloods, but it was not very difficult then to imagine that one of the shooters, dressed in a fully red Nike Tech tracksuit, could be associated with the Lewis Park Bloods and that this was a joint hit between these two camps. However, less than a week later, there would be another shooting that would seemingly bring at least some confirmation about those responsible. On the 29th of May 2024, the violence continued when police responded to another homicide near the intersection of Tilden Park Street and Houston Avenue in southwest Stockton, on the outer edge of territory controlled by the Flyboys affiliated Westside Conway Crips. When the officers arrived, they found a man inside of a vehicle in front of a residence suffering from multiple gunshot wounds, and he would be pronounced dead at the scene. This man would turn out to be 26-year-old Tommy Lee. Even more disturbing, 2 children, ages 5 and 6, were found unharmed but terrified in the backseat of the car.
Stockton police are working to piece together what led up to a deadly shooting outside of a home.
A 26-year-old man was killed as 2 young children, just 5 and 6 years old, were inside the car.
When officers arrived on scene, they located a 26-year-old male victim inside of a vehicle in the front area of the residence who had been struck multiple times by gunfire.
That man pronounced dead on the scene. 2 young children were also in the car, one taken to the hospital for minor injuries.
As with the earlier shootings, investigators initially released very little information. In fact, it took more than 3 months before the police shared additional details, including a grainy image of the suspect's vehicle. By then, authorities had confirmed that 3 shooters exited the vehicle before opening fire.
Police say a 26-year-old man was shot and killed in his car. 2 young children were in the back seat. Police say 3 suspects jumped out of the car before opening fire. So here's the car, then it drives off. Anyone with information is urged to contact police.
But meanwhile, online rumors conflicted over the victim's identity and affiliations, with some claiming he was from out of town. However, Tommy's connection to the Lewis Park Bloods, specifically Bounce Back Meek, had already appeared publicly as far back as 2020, when Tommy could be seen in Meek's music video for the song Pinocchio. There were even rumors suggesting a family connection between Bounce Back Meek and Tommy, though these claims were never officially confirmed. Still, the shooting wasn't widely tied to retaliation at first, but that changed once the music started dropping. On the 2025 song Old Nell, MB Nell took a subtle shot, rejecting the clothing brand.
It's crazy because must see all these motherfuckers as homies, bro. Not homies, but they recorded each other at one point, and then it's always something stupid, always something like little that starts beef with people that used to fuck with each other. Be weird, but I'm not gonna lie, it'd be weird for real.
And Tommy Hilfiger over Ralph Lauren, with Flyboys members seemingly later using this line as a caption while posting a picture of Tommy. Some of the clearest references came from the rapper Bands, who would rap in his October 2024 song Show N-Words how his cousin Spaz had died and somebody died right after him, before adding that they got the person. These hints would even continue on the 2025 track 3 Ever Spazzin' by Bands and Nano MB, a song made in honor of Spaz, where Bands first raps in the chorus about catching a blood out of bounds for dissing the Threes, which could have been seen as referring to Tommy, who was killed far from the Lewis Park territory close to the Flyboys' hood. But Bands wasn't done, because he would then rap about having another hat or body under his belt, this being yet another cold case, before specifically mentioning how his victim died with his kids, these lyrics seemingly referencing exactly what had happened to Tommy. Although this wasn't unfortunately the first time when the Flyboys might have killed someone in front of children, because as mentioned, the exact same thing had also happened to Chubbs a few years earlier. However, the Flyboys would keep putting out music with very peculiar details. For example, on the 2025 track Driveway, Nano MB would rap about someone trolling Spaz and getting killed in a driveway less than 5 days later, these lyrics clearly pointing towards Tommy. Interestingly, EBK rappers would add their own hints through music as well, with J-Bo himself rapping in his 2025 track The Biggest G how Flyboys had done no spinning since Spaz died, perhaps implying that it was in fact EBK behind Spaz's murder, while in another 2025 song titled It'll Happen to You, J-Bo would seemingly imply that Spaz wasn't even their target, but he was killed anyways because he hung with the people they were targeting. In the end though, both Spaz and Tommy's murders remain unsolved, and only time will tell if anyone will ever go down for them. But what we do know is that in only a few months' time, these tit-for-tat killings would continue, and in the next instance, it would unfortunately be time for another Flyboys member to lose their life.
Bro, this stuff is just back and forth, bro. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like, god damn, bro. This is sad, bro.
By May 2024, a new name from the Flyboys had started gaining real traction on the music side of things, this being of course Bands, who would drop his first hit song, The Flyest Crip, on May the 3rd, immediately gaining hundreds of thousands of views. In a July 2024 hood vlog, this alleged shooter turned rapper would speak openly about the current strained relationship with EBK and his own plans to make it in music.
Isn't that like, you know, it's been that wanted to come over here and f with us because they seen that we had the movement, and then they branched off and they was doing their own thing after that. And might have did numbers, might have did this, but we did this first.
Oh, shit, man.
2, 3 on Choke, on David Carlos, we did this first. And name any other that did this first out here besides the mob. You can't. They don't choke. You can't. I wish Cholo was here. Hey, Rip choke, man. I wish my big brother was here to see this, bro. He would have feel like we already made it, even though we ain't make it yet. But we finna make it though, you know. And as soon as I make it, I'm taking all my out of here. You think we finna be at Peterson Park chilling? You think we finna be out here chilling for what?
With each drop, Bands' name was growing, with most of his music videos breaking 1 million views with ease. But just as the camp was celebrating that momentum, everything would shift once again. On July the 5th, 2024, Stockton police responded to a shooting in the 3800 block of Fairburn Way, this being the same Sherwood's Manor neighborhood where the tragic mass shooting would take place in the following year. According to investigators, 31-year-old Carlos Hanabel, better known as the Flyboys rapper Trap Mob Los, was sitting inside his parked car when a grey Toyota Camry pulled up beside him. Without warning, the suspect opened fire multiple times before fleeing the scene. While Los was soon after rushed to hospital, he would later die from his injuries. The online reaction was immediate, and in response to the news, members of EBK would openly celebrate the killing, treating it as another score in the ongoing war. Notably, EBK Jabo joined in, posting from prison with the caption, "No response needed from EBK, check the scoreboard," before sprinkling in some trolling by adding how Los's music slaps though. From there, that tone carried straight into the music. In his 2025 track Tribe K, Jabo rapped about Los being caught lacking and claimed EBK was now up 4 bodies on the Flyboys. At the same time, EBK Lebo and EBK Pig doubled down on their 2025 track Ain't Adding Up, mocking the deaths of Spaz, Los, and Black, while also pointing out that EBK hadn't been touched in return. Meanwhile, in his August 2025 track Saturated, MB Nell rapped that retaliation for Black was still in motion, but delayed only because the people responsible were rarely in town. These lyrics clearly implying that the Flyboys and Muddy Boys were looking to catch an EBK member as get back. As the months passed with no arrests, the Trap Mob Los case grew colder, but interestingly, at a certain point the FBI would step in, releasing a sketch of the suspect describing him as roughly 5'6", between 120 and 140 pounds, as well as providing images of 2 suspects' vehicles. It doesn't seem that this would lead to any arrests though, but the FBI's interest in the murder would soon become crystal clear, because only a few days later, law enforcement would come out with Operation Boogeyman. This was a multi-agency operation which led to more than 70 arrests, and was named after EBK Jabo's biggest song, the April 2024 hit Boogeyman. The operation targeted some of the most active and violent gangs in Stockton, and included the arrests of many of the members mentioned in this video, including Nano MB, aka Luciano Guerrero, Bands, aka Raynico Flores, Flyboy Dougie, aka Billy Williams, and several others. It seems that the operation did also help to calm down the war between the Flyboys camp and the EBK and Lewis Park Alliance, at least temporarily, as the following 12
This is really insane, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. This is really quick. It's really crazy, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I'm hearing, but I feel like it's kind of, it's not pointless, but it's kind of like, it's something petty that why ABK and Flyboys even beef in the first place. It was over
12 months
petty,
would seemingly go by without either side losing any members to that war. For one particular participant in that war though, things would go from bad to worse, and only about a year into his rap career, Band's world would become crashing down when he was charged in January 2025 in connection with the 2019 murder of Lewis Park Blood affiliate Eli. Almost immediately, his ops celebrated the news as if he had died, a reaction that potentially spoke of how much of a threat that he was believed to be in the streets. That sentiment was echoed online too, where commenters suggested that the celebration meant that it was finally safe to go outside. Meanwhile, just a month later in February, EBK Jabo was released from prison after serving time on gun charges, and almost immediately controversy followed. And only a month later, a video surfaced online allegedly showing Jabo armed with a switch, a modification allowing a pistol to fire as an automatic machine gun.
Yeah, I mean, I really put on. I see where you at. Come pull up then. Come pull up then. Maybach key. What you talking about? Come pull up then. Hey, who got the Maybach key? But look.
Just one day later, he was swiftly arrested again, this time on drug and ammunition charges. By March the 20th, Jabo was out on bond, and on that very same day, he dropped one of the most aggressive tracks of the year, the infamous diss song.
And in this shit, he was supposed to be on tour with Youngboy, but he got arrested again, so he couldn't be on tour with Youngboy. This song is said F everybody. I'm not gonna lie.
F everybody. In the song, J-Bo openly dissed nearly all of his ops, including Flyboy members Black, FAD, Los, Spaz, Shotter, and others, while also calling out his rivals from the north side. The lyrics included detailed claims of shootings, bounties put on people's heads, bodies left across Stockton, and other statements that closely mirrored real-world events. He even referenced popping someone from the north side, rapping that the person he shot said that he was on 8 and not 10. These being the exact same words that the north side rapper 500 Wante used in an interview to describe the incident of him being shot.
The craziest thing, I ain't gonna lie, is being popped though, I ain't gonna lie. Got up on me, you know what I'm saying? Let that foul happen, but I hit 6 times, ain't nothing. Keep your head on the swivel. Keep your pay attention. You know what I'm saying?
You think he was slipping?
I wasn't slipping, it was just this. I wasn't on 10, I was on 8.
The song also contained lines about betrayal, admitting to backdooring someone right after shaking their hand, and referenced how Flyboy's members were stressed following Los's death. Next, he rapped about being desperate for another body. Taken together, the track came off as both disrespectful and reckless, especially given how recently J-Bo had just been released from custody. Soon after, J-Bo appeared publicly wearing 2 ankle monitors, and he explained to prolific streamer Plackboy Max that the double monitors were actually a condition of his release.
Would you right here? Yeah, just put your foot up or something. All right. So that's the first joint. That's the second joint. Holy. Okay, so look, like, why 2? Like, what's the benefit of having 2? Like, they really trying. No. Like they trying to track both your ankles.
If I was a Boosie, I'd come on here and try to act just like I got 2 because I'm just hella donkey, bro. This one is pre-trial. So you feel me? This is just for when you catch a new case. Probation and parole. It ain't too much, bro. It ain't no, cause I'm J-Bo. No, I'm on probation and I'm on parole. Be the gang.
So probation, parole.
That's all it is.
Okay, that makes
Both
sense.
of them feel like I should have an ankle monitor on 2 different agencies.
Okay, so that's why they're separate. Okay, that makes sense.
Cause I went to prison and I got juvenile still, so I'm still on probation. So probation feel like I should have an ankle monitor, and parole feel like I should have an ankle monitor, and probation don't really care.
And then how long you got them on for?
They said till. Parole said till 2027, but that's just what they say though, on blood. Nah, he ain't gonna have it on for that long though, but that's what.
That's annoying to wear?
Hell yeah, bro, imagine having to sleep with that.
Yeah, I already know.
Bro, imagine, bro, imagine having to sleep this connected to the wall, blood, and the plug way over there.
Yeah.
Like, bro, geez, blood.
Cause them bitches gotta charge it.
That's real, bro.
Damn, bro. You got a shower with that and everything?
Shower when you
J-Bo was even spotted out in public charging his monitors.
EBK J-Bo right here. Here at the max.
The thing is, bro, I feel like he don't really have the dishes. I feel like he's talented enough. But if he just taps into that new level, he don't really gotta diss his ops. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I can understand. I don't understand, but like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know.
Yeah, he let me charge the ankle monitor up, man. Appreciate, bro. I'm right here, man.
Chilling.
We here chilling, man. Shout out Sinclair Market, man. We out here.
That's right.
Yo, EBK.
That's right.
However, that supervision didn't last long because just 2 months later, shortly after the life-changing announcement that J-Bo would be part of NBA YoungBoy's Massa Tour as an opening act, those plans would be curtailed as J-Bo was arrested again, this time all the way in Arkansas on drug and gun charges. Something that seemed particularly ironic given that J-Bo actually had a song titled Out on Bail where he literally rapped about going to Arizona to buy guns from his plug. Initial reports alleged that J-Bo and other EBK members had cut off their ankle monitors and left the state.
It was a bad excuse, by the way.
I don't believe this narrative. EBK J-Bo was arrested after going on the run to make the XXL freshman shoot?
No.
No. Wait, he said that? I was on the way to y'all for the freshman XXL shoot. What? That doesn't, they're probably not shooting that for like a long time, right?
Yeah, no. That's not why he went on the run.
Yeah.
All he had to do was ask
cover?
for permission from his PO. His PO was already giving him leeway.
Okay.
Yeah, so he had a lot of leeway from his PO. I don't know what made him cut off the ankle monitors, but I think it was just a lot of people that was around him.
Wow.
Despite the mounting legal pressure, J-Bo was still named on the XXL freshman list.
Education point fingers never recommended. He's still on business because his sentence they got left in prison. I cannot tap you because I've been in that position.
Soon after this, reports would surface that he was facing up to 30 years if convicted, and by September 2025, court documents indicated that J-Bo's trial had officially begun, but there have since been no public updates on the outcome of his case. But while the courts moved slowly, the streets did not, because the years-long war with the Fly Boys and Muddy Boys on one side, and EBK alongside alongside the Westside Lewis Park Bloods on the other, was nearing its most devastating moment yet, one that would culminate in one of the most horrific mass shootings that Stockton had ever seen. Ominously, it was none other than EBK Jabo who would seemingly give a premonition about what was about to transpire, specifically mentioning in his February 2025 song The Biggest G how Bands' dissing had got his homie smoked, and how that dissing was going to get everyone hit, before adding how Nano MB specifically should be worried.
Bro.
Just a few hours ago, a mass shooting at a child's birthday party left 4 people dead and 10 additional people injured.
You just see bullet holes and everything, man. And then the evidence markers, they still here. It's just all here out in the open. I never seen anything like it. There's just holes and everything just torn through. Just everywhere, all the way up the whole thing. And the door. Bro. So sad. On November the 29th, 2025, around 100 people gathered at a venue called Monkey Space in the 1900 block of Lucille Avenue in North Stockton to celebrate the birthday of a toddler who, according to some online rumors, was the daughter of Nano MB. The event was organized by the daughter's mother, and in attendance were allegedly numerous known members of the Muddy Boys and Fly Boys, including Nano MB himself, as well as the rappers MB Nell and Flyboy Dougie, aka Dougie Threes. Just before the birthday cake was to be cut shortly before 6 p.m, several gunmen dressed in all black and covering their faces with masks would enter the venue, opening fire at the guests and sending the party into complete chaos. Sounds of the shooting were recorded on a nearby security camera, the audio capturing what sounded like semi-automatic weapons going off. A few shots followed by a short break before a sustained firing that sounded like dozens of shots going off in just a few seconds. Afterwards, as reporters would interview neighbors who heard the shooting, one man would recall how there had been 3 separate bursts of gunfire.
There was 3 sets of gunfire. The first set, there was a lot of rounds. I'm not sure exactly.
I understand you trying to get your odds, but come on, bro. Like kids, I feel like if you know you in the streets, bro, you know kids out there, bro. You should automatically we should know that kids, moms, and all that families is off limits. Especially kids, bro. They ain't got nothing to do with nothing. They just going there for a birthday party, bro. And they losing their life because you're trying to get your op so bad. Like, come on, bro. 4 kids lost their life because you own.
Happening, and then they sounded kind of fireworky, and so I wasn't really too concerned about it. But then the next 2 sets came. Gunfire came probably maybe a minute later.
After the smoke cleared, as the police and rescue personnel flooded the scene, they would find that 17 people were shot, including kids and adults, and most tragically, 4 of them would end up succumbing to their injuries, including 3 children aged 8, 9, and 14, along with a 21-year-old man. The media would arrive soon after, finding a chaotic scene with numerous police cars
8, 9, and 14, and 21.
Along the area near the location of the shooting, while numerous high-ranking city officials would gather to address the press.
They're advising 12 people have been shot.
We're doing CPR on 1 possible 12-year-old.
We have a 9-year-old that was shot.
We are following breaking news out of Stockton, where just a few hours ago, a mass shooting at a child's birthday party left 4 people dead and 10 additional people injured with gunshot wounds.
Fluid scene in the minutes after the tragedy unfolded. It was here at this parking lot, this strip mall, where we're told some of the crowds first ran to try to get cover. There was so much adrenaline in the air, but the heartbreak was palpable in those first few minutes. We were on scene less than an hour after the tragedy unfolded, which means we saw those groups of first responders, dozens of police cars, fire engines, and ambulances, and most heartbreakingly, families and mothers sobbing, asking where their kids are.
Investigators say they believe this was a targeted incident and the suspect remains at large.
Our number 1 priority is ensuring that we find that suspect and hold them accountable.
This is a very active and ongoing investigation. Information remains very limited.
Multiple agencies and city leaders are vowing to seek justice for the victims who were shot at a family gathering. District Attorney Ron Freitas calling the tragedy unthinkable and pleading with his community and asking the person responsible to turn themselves in.
When this individual is caught, you have my promise that you will have the full force of my office's resources in holding this individual fully accountable.
A few days later, the local media would interview several people who were present at the party when the shooting begun, including the father of the 14-year-old victim, Amari Peterson, who would recount the gut-wrenching last moments between him and his son, who was one of the 4 victims who passed away.
Patrick's daughter was grazed, and in the panic before he could even react,
everybody running off, and then my son is just sitting there just crawling, trying to get up. So I got my baby. I had to hop back over the counter, and I'm trying to see what's going on with him. I'm trying to give him CPR and the bullet, and he just got blood coming out his face. And it's just something that a father should never have to go through.
What no one should ever endure is now on a painful replay.
Every time I get ready to lay down, I'm like laying over my son while he's sitting there breathing, trying to breathe. Every day he would tell me, "Dad, I love you. Dad, I appreciate you." Every night, every morning. Every night, every morning, that boy would tell me he loved me.
According to the father, the gunman he saw was seemingly targeting the rapper MB Nell, who would reportedly get hit during the altercation but would end up surviving.
Peterson tells me his son had...
It is sad, bro. He was there when his son died too, bro. His son is crawling, bro. Blood coming out his face. His son, bro. His son, bro. That shit is sad, bro. You probably taking your kids to a birthday party thinking, cake, eat some food, have a great time. People come and shoot him, bro, not knowing, bro, that that's gonna be your last time seeing your son, bro, seeing your daughter, your cousin, aunt, uncle, like. And the 2 of them were 8 and 9 years old in elementary school, bro. They're saying, I heard it, they're saying it was the EBK people. Who knows who it was?
left his side momentarily to go meet a rapper who was at the gathering. Then suddenly, shots rang out.
It was like pop, 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 pop. And then I'm standing there for a second, then I started looking around to see if anybody else heard it.
Peterson says he saw a lone gunman with a face mask on, firing multiple shots in the direction where his son was gathered with other people. Peterson says it appeared that the shooter was aiming at the rapper.
He started letting off shots, and then the group started scrambling. People were scrambling and falling, getting out the way.
The New York Post would talk with Nell's father, who confirmed that Nell had been shot, but that he was okay and that he had told him not to say anything to anybody. The father would also mention an incident from 2 years ago where Nell's ops had apparently shot 22 bullets into their house, hitting his daughter-in-law. The media would also talk to the mother of the rapper Nano MB's daughter, whose birthday the people had apparently gathered to celebrate.
For the first time, we're hearing from people who were inside the venue and witnessed the horrible shooting, including a father who lost his son.
We also spoke to the mother hosting the birthday party for a 2-year-old. She talks about the scary moments when someone came in and shot several people, including children.
What was supposed to be a joyful celebration for a 2-year-old's birthday party Saturday afternoon quickly turned to terror when someone came into this building in Stockton and fired several shots.
All I heard was gunshots. I didn't see anything. I just fell to the ground with my baby. I tried to hide behind the jumper. That's all I remember.
Patrice Williams was hosting her daughter's birthday, surrounded by mostly family and some friends. She says the shooting happened as they were preparing to cut the cake and end the party. Her grandmother, Teresa Spivey, says she threw the cake table down as soon as she heard the shots and used it as a shield.
All I seen was kids dropping. Somebody fell on the side of me and they was hit. I looked up and I see my granddaughter. I ran and got her, and I just started throwing kids in the back room, putting them up under the table. And I just seen the other kids just dropping to the ground, bleeding.
And when asked about a possible motive for the shooting, family couldn't understand what would make someone do something so horrible, urging anyone with information to come forward.
He asked the family if they knew.
Come on, bro. Y'all know why. Y'all know niggas. Y'all niggas seen it gang banging, bro. Y'all niggas seen it gang banging, bro. Whoever it is. Some niggas that was gangbanging, they know that, bro. But like, I feel like kids should be off limit, bro. Even if you know your ops are there, if the kids are present, why, like?
Any possible motive. but they tell us they know of none, and it was hard to see who entered the building that night. And it's hard to understand why anyone would want to shoot up a child's birthday party.
I believe they just deserve to rot in jail.
The family now calling for justice.
I want the city to know on today, if you have any idea who pulled up and robbed us, stole from us, and took from us lives, tell it. You're not a snitch, because the person that did it, not a gangster. You lost it if you thought you was.
But following that news appearance, she also took to Instagram Live to express her grief and guilt about the situation.
So sorry to all the family. Like, nobody will ever understand how I feel, bro. I feel so up. I wish they could have just took me. Like, I feel like they could have just took me hard. Like, why do they have to take everybody? Why do they have to take everybody? Why do they have to shoot everybody? Why do they have to shoot my sister, my cousins, these babies, bro? Do you know how much I have? I feel like I owe so much, like, explanation. I owe so much to these people. Like, I just don't know what to do with my babies, bro. Like, my babies is so terrifying. This is crazy, and I would never want no type of pity party for nothing. I just want everybody to love and just love these parents that have been going through everything. Like, I know it was my party, but I really want everybody just to give the parents and the kids love and support. Whatever they can do for them, please, y'all. Just help these parents, y'all. I know I'm only one person and I can't do much.
She also specifically denied any accusations that she was the one who revealed the location of the party, as rumors began to swirl online that she had posted the location to her social media, with many accusing her of acting recklessly, given that she knew that high-level gang members would actually be in attendance.
Everybody on here with negativity talking about I gave the address. I never gave the address to my baby party. Can you guys... Who I gave the address to is the people that was supposed to be there. Like, come on now, things happen. Just like these people run the streets and be gang members or wherever they want to be, things happen.
After her media appearances, many would pay close attention, particularly to the huge Choke Bitty tattoo on her neck, with people completely unaware of Stockton's complex gang politics going on TikTok deep dives to try and find out what it meant, with it eventually being revealed that this was in fact a tattoo paying tribute to one of the dead Flyboys members, Choke, aka Cholo, killed in 2022, with some people online claiming that the woman was not only the mother of Nano MB's daughter, but that she also had at least one child together with Cholo before his passing, while the spelling of city with a B as Bitty and the tattoo's red color allegedly actually symbolizing her own alleged affiliations to the Blood Gang. Notably, 2 people present at the party were arrested in the aftermath for violating their probations, these being none other than Nano MB himself, real name Luciano Guerrero, who apparently had violated his probation by being in contact with gang members who had attended the gathering, as well as Flyboys rapper Dougie Threes, real name Billy Williams, who apparently wasn't allowed to be near gang members or children due to his dark criminal background. Before his arrest, Dougie had gone live on Instagram as well, seemingly to show the ops and fans that he was untouched.
Shot where? Got it. Not a hit, not shot, none of that.
But after his arrest, Dougie would be interviewed by the local KCRA3 News from inside the jail, where he would give his version of the events that transpired.
25-year-old Billy Williams sits in the San Joaquin County Jail.
They want to talk about my name. They want to talk about what happened. Tell them to talk about who carried the kids, not why they came. Because we don't know why they came, because I wouldn't do that to somebody.
Speaking out about what happened the night of the shooting.
So whoever did it, bro, I don't know who, to do that when you know kids are present, bro, it's a birthday party. Let them just celebrate the birthday. Let's celebrate the kids' birthday, you know, like, what?
And his arrest 2 days later.
My parole violation right now is based off me being around where a crime was committed.
He tells me he doesn't know why someone would shoot up a children's birthday party. Do you think you know who did this?
No.
Dougie would also make a bold claim that the first responders were more focused on pointing guns at people than trying to help the injured children.
I just started to run after all the kids that I seen in the wall. And I I started securing him, and I noticed that when the police came, that they didn't run to the kids. They were like still pointing the guns.
He says his back was turned, so he didn't know who was shooting at them.
I couldn't believe it because I turned around and I seen the little girl fall. When I seen the little girl fall, I was like, this is like a movie.
Williams tells me when police arrived, he says they took a long time to get into the building.
I was like, the kids is dying, and they wouldn't listen.
But the sheriff responsible for the scene would then come out, publicly calling Dougie a liar, as well as claiming that nobody who was present at that party was cooperating with investigators at all.
My officer, who was first on scene, arrived across the street because that's the location where they said it was, and then he heard the yelling. He ran into the building before it was cleared of any other suspects, saw what was going on, ran back to his car, got his medical bag, ran back into the building, and immediately started assisting children. We have video footage that is part of our investigation that shows not only did he not help carry children out or anything else, he was constantly interfering with my officers, calling them names, telling them to get away from the children.
Interestingly, Dougie would also reportedly state during his interview that even if certain people at the party were targeted, he didn't understand why someone would shoot innocent kids.
He says he has seen the posts on social media, people claiming that he and Luciano Guerrero were the targets of the shooting, but he says if anyone was targeted, he doesn't understand why those attackers would shoot children.
However, based on what we know now about the events that led up to this mass shooting and the murders where kids were present that Flyboys and Muddy Boys members have allegedly been involved in, choosing a kid's birthday party as the scene for this unthinkable crime begins to look a lot less random and a lot more calculated. It was also no surprise then, given past events, that the Stockton police would immediately swarm Lewis Park and arrest numerous people on gang-related charges, perhaps in the hopes of both finding information about the shooting and preventing any possible retaliation. It also didn't take long for people online to begin discussing the possibility that EBK were involved in the shooting, and many members of the crew would actually respond to these accusations on social media, strongly denying that they had anything to do with the incident and saying how they didn't condone violence against kids. This would be somewhat ironic and unbelievable given what some EBK rappers have also said in their music about shooting around kids or even killing them. On the 2nd of December, news would report that the FBI had put up a $50,000 reward for any tip that would lead to the arrest of the suspects, and that number would soon rise to over $100,000 as the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives and the Stockton Crime Stoppers would also put up their own rewards, showing that the resources used for this case were on another level to any typical gang-related murder investigation that you'd find in Stockton. Yet despite all of these efforts, at the time of making this video, there still hasn't been any arrests in this case. But in the meantime, one Texas-based non-profit called the Youth, Peace and Justice Foundation would announce that they were organizing ceasefire talks between Stockton gangs in relation to this mass shooting, saying that at least 4 gangs had accepted.
I'm sorry, bro. That is sad, bro. 4 kids lost their life at a birthday party. This I probably have some cake, ice cream, trampoline, eat some good food, bro, and
the invite. Some experts would react to such plans with skepticism, saying how there was little hope that anything concrete would come as a result of this.
The possibility of it is minimal. I just can't see it happening. They named a couple of traditional street organizations who have been in odds for 50, 75 years. And to have that kind of ability to pull them into a room and say they want to do a truce of some sort, just kind of speaks to the lack of understanding about the nature of street organizations.
A former Stockton gang member and expert in gang violence didn't want to talk on camera, but told me on the phone the same, saying a meeting is unlikely and an agreement even more so.
I've talked to a lot of people. Nobody knows what's going on. No city officials know.
And the day after the supposed ceasefire talks, the non-profit would come out with a press release saying that they had secured a conditional and temporary truce between the principal drivers, which appears to refer to the gangs that had been at the heart of this conflict. The release stated that the gangs would hold violence in abeyance to save lives, restore order, and ensure members return to long-standing traditions regarding who is involved and what's off limits in gang conflict. However, they also stated that any long-term peace was impossible due to the lack of institutional support and inconsistencies in available programming and opportunities overall, adding that this temporary truce would last from the 12th of December until January the 2nd, 2026. The city officials would quickly come out to dispute any such claims of a ceasefire, and unfortunately, if history is any indication of the future, it's highly unlikely that a tragedy of this scale will go unavenged for too long.
Yep. The ceasefire, man. The ceasefire and truce. I mean, it can work for a little bit, but it's not gonna be full time, bro. It's just not, bro. It's gonna be temporary, but it's not gonna be full time, bro. Nah. Innocent kids lost their life, bro, at a birthday party. Ridiculous. RP, man. RP, bro. RP on Mario, man. RP the kid lost their life in this shit, man.
So it was November the 29th, 2025, when over 100 people had gathered for a toddler's birthday party at this venue called Monkey Space in North Stockton. It was around just after 6 p.m. after the cake had been cut, when shots rang out. 3 children lost their lives, 1 adult, and over a dozen people were wounded. Even just coming to this spot, seeing the bullet holes in the flesh, seeing the tributes to the people that lost their lives and the children that passed away, it's
sad, bro.
Honestly a sobering and heartbreaking experience. I've really not been so close to the violence in the stories that I've covered like this. I've been to places where people have passed away, and I've been to locations where people have, you know, had shootouts and gang wars, but to really be here and see the evidence markers and the it's just heartbreaking. I really want this video to be a message to the next generation of youngsters coming out of everywhere all over America, not just Stockton, but all over America and all over the world. This drill music thing, it can be a way out, and it can be a way of using music to do something positive and change your life, but at the same time, the violence has to stop. We need to push peace and positivity in the community, and the only way we're going to do that is make a change. If anybody's watching this that's young, growing up around these issues, facing
the thing is, we can try to push positivity and all this. It's not gonna work, bro. It's not. We're gonna send the world, bro, works on negativity and negative energy. This peace, for a little bit, it's just not. It's not gonna stand. Not gonna stand because we get still racism in America, around the whole world. People are not coming together in America, bro. America should be, the United States should be one of the most powerful countries in the world, but racism and I forgot the other word that don't let women work. There's certain things that men are better than women at, and there's certain things that women are better than men at in this country. And racism as well. So America should be one of the best countries, but a lot of racism, man, it's just not fair opportunity for everybody. And it is what it is. It's just sad, bro. All this peace shit, it's happening for a little bit. It's not gonna be forever, bro. Cause niggas, the new generation gonna be dissing, and it is what it is, man. Let me know what you think down below, man. This is part 2. This is the last part. Shout out to Traveler Ross, man. Yeah, thank you for the person that told me to watch this video, man. Appreciate you, man. Subscribe, man. Yeah.